My name's Kate Vanderdrift and I am a photographic artist. In my work, I'm interested in land that has been impacted by industrialisation, colonisation and the weather. And I'm interested in understanding the historical stories and the impact that those have had on particular environments. And Waitawa is particularly interesting because of its multi-level transformation. Like there was mana whenua lived here, Ngātai and Ngāti Paoa, that's evident in power sites and middens. Then there was the colonial impact that the forest was cut down, the wetland was drained, there's pasture and it was also planted in Pinus radiata. And then after that there was industry here, there was explosives and ammunition site, and then it was bought by council to be transformed into this park. So in this film holder, this is, it gets called a dark slide. It's for a 4x5 camera. It's light proof, so no light can enter, but water can enter because light can't go around corners, but there's plenty of entry points and exit points for the water to go in and out of. And I'm just taping them to these stakes so that I can put these in the wetland and not lose them and be able to come back and find them. It's a Cameraless, will be a Cameraless image, so the wetland will write its own image without a lens. Then I'll take this back to the studio and develop it, and then we'll see what appears. It's part magic. Wetlands are incredible environments for biodiversity and variety of species. Birds use them as stepping stones to larger areas of bush. There's freshwater fish that spawn in the waterways and they act as liver and kidney. They filter the toxins coming off the land before it goes out to sea, and they just are incredible alive spaces that are really important to nurture and to care for and restore. Okay, so there's two in here. That's another one. They've been in here for a couple of weeks and the water temperature is still quite cold, so I would think that they potentially need longer, but I might take this one back to the studio and develop it now just to check. There's the stake has gone black where it's been in the water, so I'm guessing that's a high tannin content of the waterway. I'll take this one back, see what's on it, and hope for the best. I've made a lot of work while I've been here, and I think what really took my attention was the very physical transformation that's going on right now, which is the transformation from pasture into native planting. So there's been 4,000 plants put outside the house, basically, the batch where I'm staying, and so I've really seen over the time of visiting, I've really seen the transformation and the beginning of a new planting. So that area of land was pasture, marginal pasture that's been retired, and it's quite incredible the amount of plants that have been put in there. And I guess that coupled with walking around and seeing gorse that's been sprayed and kind of the abundance of and diversity of introduced invasive plants here has just really captured my attention. And I wondered why, because there's a lot of resource that's been going into getting rid of these weeds as well. So being here, it felt like a really good opportunity to work with the plants and the herbicides that are here and that have a history as well that is particular and relates to the way that the land has been transformed by humans in the past. I've also been experimenting with collecting some of the weeds with Ranger Brian. He's been showing me which ones he is targeting and what herbicides to use with them. And I have been using those in a Cameraless way with a Cameraless technique as well, and something that I haven't done before, so it's exciting for me to be experimenting with some of the herbicides directly. So the paper or film, they react to light or chemicals. So the chemical reactions in the wetland and the water and the microorganisms, they react in one way, but the weed works. So I've been dipping those plants into the herbicide that gets used with that plant and then placing that on the paper, and there's a chemical reaction that happens between the plant, so the chemicals in the plant, and the herbicide and the paper and the sun. So those four things are all working in combination to give this quite incredible different result. So these are my first experiments on photosensitive paper. So you can see that the perchlorum is green, it's dyed green. And then this met gel, it turns brown. So yeah, this is just plain black and white silver gelatin paper that has then been placed in the sun to create a lumen print, which creates these pinky coloured tones. But this whole project here has been fully experimental. So yeah, that's why there's so many tests along here as well. Like I started testing with these little scraps of old film, trying black and white and colour. They didn't really work very well, but so then I went and I tried the paper. Yeah, I guess my practice is high failure and high success. So I guess if I make enough and try enough, usually something will work because I've got an understanding of how the materials interact with one another. And I started to get some really great results on paper, which is, these are on fibre-based paper. And then, yeah, after that worked, I decided to try it on film. So I'm happy with these two, and I'm happy with a couple of the film works as well. It's not that I love working with the chemicals. I don't really like working with them, but the magic, the interaction is quite magical. Yeah, it's surprising, definitely. I think newness really does get me as well, you know, wanting to create something that's new for me or that I haven't seen made by somebody else. And I also had the really wonderful experience of waking up one night when it was full moon and it was just very bright here. There's not a lot of light pollution, so I just decided to get out of bed and go and take some photographs. And yeah, it was a really magical experience. I spent 4 nights walking around the park. Something I've wanted to do before, and here I felt quite safe because there's just no one around. So yeah, I'm looking forward to printing some, and I think a few of them are going to be printed and put on the bunker over on the other side of the park over summertime, which would be lovely to have them at scale and yeah, and be able to share them with park goers. I think I'm definitely not relaxed, but I just have so much fun playing and experimenting, and I always really enjoy making something new, or you know, the feeling of something working is just such a high. It was a gift to be given that experience.